is a dissociative anesthetic. Dissociative means detached. It gives you a detached feeling from your environment and from your body. It was initially developed on the battlefield in the 1960s to use as a battlefield anesthetic. It's an NMDA receptor antagonist, and the NMDA receptor helps with neuroplasticity, your brain learning new pathways, as well as memory. It also is thought to have some antidepressant effects due to its push-pull effect with the glutamate and GABA neurotransmitters in the brain. The therapeutic and recreational uses of ketamine are different because in the therapeutic setting, we are controlling the dose. We also are monitoring you and making sure that we are ready if there are any adverse effects. Another difference is that prior to beginning your ketamine assisted therapy sessions, we do a medical intake and we screen you for any kind of medical problems that might be a contraindication to using ketamine. Or if there are any medical problems that you may have, we can help optimize those so that you don't have any adverse reactions to ketamine. For instance, if your blood pressure is uncontrolled, that would be a contraindication to taking the ketamine for the ketamine assisted therapy. But we can make sure that that is not a problem prior to initiating the sessions. The frequency of the KAP sessions is twice a week. One day you will have the session where you take the ketamine, and then within 48 hours you will have your therapy session. And that way you no longer have the ketamine in your system, but you're still able to experience the neuroplastic effects of the ketamine during your therapy session. The main side effect of ketamine is nausea and vomiting. We provide you with an anti-nausea medication that you can be pre-treated with prior to the ketamine session to help avoid that side effect. There are also some natural remedies that we can help provide if you do not want to take the medication for nausea prior to beginning the session. A KAP session will just coming in the room and getting comfortable. You'll take your anti-nausea medication or natural remedy for nausea. We'll let you use an eye mask so that your eyes can be open, but we'll block out the light in the room. We start the music. We usually start the session with an opening poem or verse, and then you'll take the lozenge. The lozenge takes about 30 minutes to dissolve in your mouth. You will just relax, listen to music, and as things come into your mind or feelings come to you, you will speak them and we will record them in a journal for you. Once the ketamine has worn off, you can take your time taking the eye mask off. We'll make sure that you're not feeling nauseated or dizzy. We'll let you eat a snack. And then once the session is ended, someone will come and pick you up. And then we will see you again for your therapy session within 48 hours. The difference between ketamine assisted psychotherapy and IV infusions of ketamine really comes into the therapy part. With the IV infusions, you are in a room alone getting the medication. You get the benefit of the antidepressant effect of ketamine, but once you stop taking the medication or getting the infusions, the benefits that you received from it may not last as long. With the ketamine assisted psychotherapy, not only are you getting the antidepressant effect of the ketamine, but the therapy is taking advantage of the neuroplasticity of the ketamine, which allows you to make long-term changes in your brain so that the antidepressant effects and the anti-anxiety effects will be long-term, because not only have you received the benefit from the medication, but you have also changed your thinking and behavior so that those effects can be long-lasting.
Ketamine helps with depression symptoms by giving some distance between our intense negative emotions and our thinking pattern. People are able to look at how they have been thinking about the world, interacting with the world, and how can we do that differently. We tend to have a negative perspective on ourselves, the world around us, the future, when we've been dealing with depression for a long time. And ketamine lets us see that we don't have to do that in the same way forever. We can think about things in a different way. We can create new trails in the brain, so to speak, and work to make those trails into superhighways. So that's the way that we then respond in situations instead of this past pattern of behavior that really was keeping us stuck in this depressive state where we weren't able to enjoy things or find motivation to make change, to do things in our day-to-day. So it really helps with that change in thinking patterns. Ketamine helps the brain disengage from this hyper-aroused state, this really sitting on the edge of your seat, tense, anxious moment, and turns the volume down a little bit so that we can look at past experiences, talk about potential fears, things that we're afraid will happen or that might happen again. And by allowing us to really deal with those difficult things, we can work on changing the story that we tell. It's not that this one thing that happened to me is the only part of me, is the only story of my life. There are a lot of other aspects of your life that matter a lot too. But if we're so stuck in that painful story, it's really hard to think, how can I have a life outside of this?